when we had that condo in turn 1 and 2 at Sharpmurray Speedway, in passing, we'd run into him in the elevator or whatever, and him and Kelly were very were friendly. So they would communicate and talk and have a conversation, but I was young, and even just being 2 years younger,
not the most social person.
I wasn't social. Yeah, I was just quiet and shy. And
we would run past each other a lot.
We would,
in Atlanta.
As we got older, we
yeah.
When I was 12, 13, 14, him and Kelly had a friendship, and I was just kind of I was a loner.
I got you.
We're 2 years different, and you were busy. You were following your dad around, and I was following my dad around, and I was, just I don't know. We were both wide-eyed, trying to figure out what we were doing in life.
Yep. I was going to ask you that. I mean, you said you weren't planning on getting into the business like this. Did you at that time have any idea what you were interested in, other than just being around your dad?
I thought I wanted to be a doctor.
Okay.
I was thinking about being a pediatrician because honestly, my mom always said, you should be a doctor. And
doesn't every mom?
Yeah.
I know she, but I think she was planting those seeds, and I thought, well, I like our pediatrician. He seems like he has a pretty cool job, and I did some camp counseling when I was in high school, and I thought that'd be pretty neat to be a doctor. And sure enough, I wasn't very good at chemistry or calculus, and
that'll get you.
Yeah,
it got me.
Yeah, but then I kind of fell in love with racing. I mean, that was really what got me involved. Yeah.
So back to Sharpmurray Speedway, that track has been part of the backbone of our sport. But we come, in recent times, the entire sport's had some to face some realities, and that presented an opportunity. And you guys decided to create the Roval.
Yeah.
And what was the reaction when you first brought the Roval idea to either industry folks like NASCAR or the drivers or owners?
Oh, man. So I was in my office, and my office overlooks the front stretch. I've got a great view of the speedway and the dragway and the dirt track. And I'm sitting there just thinking about what we're doing, and thinking about how to make the race better. And at the time, there was a lot of discussion in the industry and among fans, like on the radio channel about, hey, we should have a road course in the playoffs.
Yeah. And
we've got too many 1.5 miles in the playoffs. And I thought about our fall race in Charlotte that, it's 1.5 miles. It's we've got the NASCAR All-Star race. It's really special. You've got the Coke 600. It's really special. I need to do something to make the fall race even better. And we had just finished up some improvements on our infield road course. And I just started thinking about when somebody said we need a road course in the playoffs. I thought we used to race Charlotte in the Camel GT series. That was a sports car, kind of like IMSA series when I was a kid, and I loved that. It was always cool to see Corvettes and Porsches and Jaguars and all those cool old cars race on the track. And I thought, I think we could make the Charlotte Roval part of the NASCAR season. And so I called a guy, Steve Swift, who heads up all of our construction and development at Speedway Motorsports, and said, man, I got a crazy idea. Could we make the Roval race ready for a cup race? And we talked a little bit. He said, well, let me call you back. I got a couple things to look up. And
so he didn't think it was crazy right off the bat?
No.
Okay.
And he's used to
crazy ideas.
Some wild ideas.
Yeah. And he and his team, they're the best. I mean, I can ask them to do anything, and they can do it. And so he called me back. I guess he emailed me back within a few hours and said, yeah, we can do it. And so I called Steve O'Donnell at NASCAR. And I said, Steve, I got an idea. It's a great idea. And
the best idea you'll ever hear.
Yeah. And I said, it's kind of crazy, so prepare. And I said, I think we've got a solution that is going to be really great for the sport. We can have a road course in the playoffs, and we'll take out one of the 1.5 miles in the playoffs. And the answer is running the Roval course at Charlotte. It's it's been done before. We've got a lot of updating and modernization that we've already done. We'll do more, but that's the idea. And he didn't hate it right off. He said, "Man, I think that's pretty cool. That's we need more information, but that's pretty interesting. I'd like to learn more about it." So so then I talked to Kevin Harvick about it. He and I had breakfast one morning. I said, "I got a crazy idea. What do you think about this?" And he said, "Man, I think that's really cool. You should do it." Everything was going okay. Then I talked to Sam Flood at NBC, and Sam said, "I love it." He really liked it a lot. Jeff Banke liked it a lot. And I felt really good because Sam is just, he's fantastic influence in all of sports, not just NASCAR. And to have his support meant a lot. So then I kept working on it, all the details. As soon as it got to the race teams, it was a hard no. There was a big brick wall.
Did you suspect that to be the case when you got to the race teams?
No. I mean, honestly, I thought it's such a great idea. Everybody ought to agree with this great idea. And so when I started to run into the resistance, there's a lot of challenges with the teams at that time. And I just, so NASCAR had me come and talk to the team owners in Daytona. I think this was like 4 years ago. And Rick Hendricks there, Roger Penske, and Chip and Coach Gibbs and all the guys. Well, Mr. H said, "Marcus, I really don't think you need to do this year." And he's like I know he's probably like a second dad to you. He's got that special place, in my life. And when he said no, I like shrunk, 6 inches and just thought, man, I guess we're not doing it this year. So, but he said, I think you just need to give us a little more time. And so immediately, I knew we were going to get it done for that season and started working on the following season. We made it even better. We had Jeff Gordon come out, had Max Pappas come out, had Mario Andretti come out, test it. I mean, we just went to work on making it the best road course among the world. And that's and then before too long, we announced it on the schedule.
What was their concern?
I think it's just you take probably the most familiar race course to every NASCAR driver is Charlotte. I mean, I don't know if there's anyone that any driver has been on more than Charlotte. And in the playoffs, and you throw it out and you bring in what now is a never raced on before race course and say, go, it's in the playoffs. That was really intimidating. And I get that. But, when it's something where you're counting on it being a known entity and then you just go to the total unknown, I think that was concerning.
Yeah, I think the fact that the cars had never raced around a Roval before, you got to make sure you got a great tire.
Yeah.
So safety was a big, just not having it tested enough, right?
Well, you got to have a tire that can go through the road course, turn left and right, then go around an oval.
Yeah.
They worried about how the tire would perform, the left front and so forth.
Yeah.
If you're running camber, to go left and right, and then you're going to take that car with that setup and that geometry around the banked oval, it could be disastrous. So it just needed a little more time.
Do you remember when I called you about it?
Yeah.
You remember what you said?
No.
Dale said, "I'd like to see it."
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah. So I was
still
racing.
Yeah.
And he said it was the last year of my contract, the last year of my career, and he said I'm thinking about doing this Roval, and I said I'd love to watch it.
Next year, right?
Yeah.
So you weren't even in favor of it.
No.
Of course, you were just trying to get to the finish line at that point, right?
I know that was my genuine emotion.
Yeah.
I would love to see it.
Yeah.
But you did not want to race it.
I wasn't that interested.
Hey, you know what? He's been consistent with this too, because I mean, even this past weekend, he was talking about, man, I'd hate it as a driver, but boy, it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what works. I mean, usually whatever the drivers hate is fun for fans, fun to watch.
Yeah.
We want to see. I mean, I don't want to see anybody frustrated or mad, but man, we like to see the drivers in compromised situations.
Challenge.
Challenge them.
Yes.
Yeah, and not just by the facility, but by each other. You know, that stuff with Bubba and Alex this weekend, although you're going to have opinion about who is right or wrong or what the etiquette is there. Either way, it's what we hope we see in the end result is guys happy, guys frustrated. We want every emotion, right?
Yeah.
And so as a broadcaster, I love it. As a driver, I hated it. I hated all the reels. Like if I got in a crash, like the perfect example is the Kyle Busch Richmond thing.
Yep.
I knew, not only am I dealing with it in the moment and dealing with the crap for a couple weeks, they're going to run it the next Richmond race, right? It's going to be in all the highlights leading up, promoting the race.
The promoters.
It's going to be in all of the. It's going to be the lead-in for the
man.
TV.
And
How
you
about
can, you
Bubba
can
Wallace? His crash into the chicane wall from
Yeah.
last year has been rerun.
Oh, man.
Over and over and over.
Oh, my
Yeah.
gosh.
So
Yeah.
I hated that anytime I was in part of those highlight reels. And I also began to hate it when other drivers were as well because I knew I wouldn't like it. But, man, as a broadcaster, run it. Run that crash from last year, Bubba Wallace.
changed
Love
Such
it.
a hypocrite, right?
I am 100. I'm flipped like a pancake.
Yeah.